The alarm clock buzzed for the third time. The sun was already spilling through the blinds, painting golden stripes across the messy room. But in that tangled bed of sheets and scattered dreams, one boy still slept, peacefully unaware that another day was slipping away. His name was Ethan Miller. To his parents, he was a dreamer who never woke up. To the neighbors, he was that lazy kid from Oak Ridge. And to himself, he was waiting for the perfect moment to start his life. He said it every morning, "I'll do it tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. Ethan lived in a quiet American town surrounded by golden cornfields and dirt roads that shimmered under the summer sun. Everyone in Oak Ridge had a rhythm. Mr. Davis opened his store at 6 a.m. sharp. The farmers were already out on their tractors before sunrise. Even the mailman, old and limping, made his rounds on time. Everyone except Ethan. His father, Thomas Miller, was a farmer, strong hands, rough voice, and eyes that had seen more sunsets than he could count. His mother, Grace, ran a small vegetable stall at the local market, smiling through exhaustion. They worked hard to give Ethan a future beyond the fields. But their son preferred daydreams to daylight. He spent his days lying under the oak tree near the barn, staring at clouds drifting lazily across the blue sky. Sometimes he imagined himself rich, successful, famous, without ever lifting a hand to make it real. His notebooks were filled with half-finished plans, his phone cluttered with motivational reminders he never followed. Ethan had all the time in the world, or so he thought. One evening, Thomas came home later than usual, dust clinging to his clothes. "Son," he said quietly, "you're 20. When are you going to do something with your life?" Ethan didn't even look up. "Relax, Dad. I've got time. I'll figure it out." Thomas sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Son, the world doesn't wait for dreamers. One day, you'll run out of tomorrows." Ethan just smirked. He always believed his father exaggerated things, like every adult trying to rush life. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The corn grew tall, then turned golden, and Ethan's dreams stayed right where they were, inside his head. Then one evening, something changed. A stranger came walking down the road towards their farm, a tall, older man in a long coat and dusty boots. He carried a small satchel and a quiet air of purpose. "Evening," he greeted as he reached the fence. "Is this the Miller farm?" Thomas nodded. "Yes, sir. Can I help you?" The old man smiled. "I'm just passing through. Name's Elijah Brooks. I was told there's a barn here where I can rest for the night." Thomas agreed immediately, offering him food and shelter. That night, Elijah sat with the family at dinner. His eyes were calm, wise, like he lived a dozen lifetimes. Ethan barely looked up from his plate. After dinner, Elijah noticed him sitting outside alone, scrolling through his phone, the blue glow lighting his face. "Young man," he said gently, "why waste the night staring at nothing?" Ethan shrugged. "Because there's time for everything, old man. I'll start when I'm ready." Elijah's eyes narrowed, but his voice stayed calm. "Would you like to hear a story, then?" Ethan sighed. "As long as it's short." Elijah smiled. "Oh, it's short, but it might last forever." He began. "Once upon a time, there was a great king who made an unusual offer to his people.
he announced, "Anyone who can reach my palace before sunset will receive all the gold and land they can carry." The people went wild. At dawn, they gathered at the edge of the royal forest, ready to run. Among them was a young man, strong, eager, ambitious. He ran faster than anyone else, determined to claim the treasure. By noon, he was halfway there, sweat dripping down his face.
He saw a tree with wide shade and thought, "I've earned a little rest." He sat down and fell asleep. When he woke, the sun had already moved. Panicking, he started running again. But soon, hunger clawed at his stomach. He stopped by a roadside stall, telling himself, "Just a quick meal, I still have time." Minutes turned to hours. By the time he reached the palace gates, the sun had already disappeared. The doors shut before him. He fell to his knees, realizing his chance was gone forever. Not because he wasn't fast enough, but because he thought he had more time. Elijah paused. The wind rustled through the fields. Ethan stared at him, something twisting inside his chest. The old man leaned closer. "Tell me, Ethan," he whispered, "when will your sun set?" And with that, Elijah stood, nodded politely, and walked back to the barn. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, hearing those words echo in his mind again and again. "When will your sun set?" He thought of his father, getting older, bending under the weight of every harvest. His mother, hands raw from market work, still smiling as if nothing hurt. And himself, a boy who had done nothing but wait for life to begin. Before dawn, for the first time in years, Ethan got up early. He walked out to the barn, grabbed a shovel, and began to work beside his father. His hands blistered quickly, but he didn't stop. Thomas looked at him, stunned. No words were exchanged, just a quiet understanding that something had changed. Days turned into weeks, and the rhythm of work became part of Ethan's life. He studied again, took online courses, started helping neighbors repair fences and barns. The town began to notice. Years passed. Ethan eventually became a teacher in Oak Ridge High, guiding students not just in subjects, but in something deeper. Every graduation day, he told them the story of the King's Challenge and of a boy who almost slept through his own life. Time. It's the one thing we waste the most and regret the hardest. Ethan Miller learned that success isn't born from luck. It's built from every small decision to act now. Because every second we delay is a piece of life we'll never get back. One evening, years later, as the sun set over the same golden fields, Ethan stood by his old oak tree. The sky burned orange, just like it did the day Elijah Brooks arrived. He whispered softly to the wind, "Thank you for waking me up before my sun went down, and the last rays of light disappeared beyond the horizon. The greatest loss isn't time itself. It's the life we never live because we think there's still time. If this story inspired you today, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to ProfilePoint. Share it with someone who dreams big but struggles to start. Together, let's rise and live the life we dream of.